Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny Burak, and I'm an astrologer and an energy healer, and I work with Archangel Metatron in bringing forward these messages about the energies that we're experiencing and how to best cope with them and how you can use them to, push you along your path. And I guess I don't want to say push, but how they can help to guide you along your path is what Metatron is saying. So, just a couple of things before we get started with the astrology of the full moon coming up in Virgo. I wanted to bring to your attention Metatron brought to my attention through a friend that we have in common. These sprays. Now, a lot of you know that I'm friends with Amanda Ellis. I use all of her sprays. I have at least a bottle of each one, and I use them a lot. I use them with my daughter. She uses them, and when people come over to my house, they will sample the sprays. I have a huge tray of them, and I have a lot of indigo, crystal, diamond children that come through my house. And so, yeah, they all enjoy using the sprays as well. And a couple of them were able to start seeing through their third eye when they applied the spray. So yeah, that's I'll put Amanda's website information in the description box. I know a lot of you have shared with me that you found me through Amanda, and a lot of you have also shared with me that you found Amanda through me. So I haven't talked about her sprays for a long time. I wanted to mention that first. But a friend of mine who also works with Metatron, she posted this on Facebook. And I know her very well. She's not the kind of person that would Photoshop. But these shapes appeared over bottles of a different spray that Metatron would like me to share with you. These are made by a friend of mine now named Natalia. And her website is omtherapies.org. And the reason that those shapes appear is she works with Metatron, and she works with the dragons very closely too. So she told me when I contacted her, she told me, oh, it's, this dragon showed up last week, and he's larger than any dragon I've ever seen. And his scales have orange geometry running through the scales. And then also he's turquoise and orange. And I knew obviously what that was about because he told her he wanted to work with an astrologer. So that was how I was introduced to him. And not coincidentally, and this isn't obviously all about me because she's working with him now too. And we're working with him in the Emerald Fire meetings that we have the first Sunday of every month, which I didn't advertise a lot for this past one that we had because I was just really drained and I just couldn't hold energy for a whole lot of people. So if you weren't there, your energy was there with us as well. I know a lot of you, like Roz, as an example, are always doing grid work on the planet. So, but this month we're going to have it again on March 3rd, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. The Zoom link is in the description box below, and everyone will be working with a dragon doing that as well. And he's also helping to guide my classes that I just started this past Sunday. So that was exciting. So yeah, I will leave the website information in the description box. This is another bottle of her sprays. This is called Holy Geometry Spray. So I don't even know that if she knows anyone else who does sprays, but I wanted to share those with you because I love that they're made with that structured water. So they're sacred geometry in the water. And if you weren't able to catch the reading that I did on the live video, it really had a lot to do. We used the Magical Dimensions Oracle cards, and it has a lot to do with this full moon that's coming up. So we had the Sacral Portal, and that's the hint to that Mars in Taurus energy soon Venus will move into Aquarius as Uranus moves also into Taurus. They will be in mutual receptions. I'm really excited to do the astrology video for March, and I'm hoping to have that up on Monday, the day of this full moon coming up. That's going to be at 3:53 p.m. on the 19th. I'm sorry, I'm doing it on the 18th, but the full moon is on Tuesday then. On the 19th, 3:53 p.m. London time, 9:53 p.m. Chicago's time, or Central Standard Time. And that full moon that we have coming up is in Virgo. Virgo gets a bad rap because Virgo is about work and having to work hard. And, the sixth house, the Virgo house, in a different type of astrology that I do believe that every practice of astrology has validity. So I'm not discounting it at all, but it's interpreted in that it's a very ancient way of interpreting the sixth house as the house of curses. It's more like what we deserve or what we've earned. And usually not, it's usually where we have, and even if you have an empty sixth house, you have a ruler of your sixth house, and Mercury relates to the sixth house as well. And so it's what we're working through is what Metaron is saying. So like a lot of you, like me, had a lot of working through to do before you came to your awakening. And so that relates to Virgo. So, but Virgo is about service, and the Virgo Pisces axis is about, because Mercury, who rules this full moon now, that day goes into a shadow period. So that's very telling that the full moon that he rules is the day, happens the day he enters shadow. What that means is that the planet is at, and I don't have it actually in my notes. I want to say that he's at, let's see if I can read this. It's really tiny writing. Yeah, he's at 16. Shoot, you guys. I think he's about 16. Yeah, he's at 16 of Pisces on the day of this full moon. And so he's having a conversation with Venus. That's an easy conversation, but it's a decision-making aspect, that the way that they're relating to each other through that aspect and that conversation that they're having, those energies. Think of the planets as a body of energy, just as you are a body of energy. And Mercury is very close with the asteroid Heimdall. Heimdall is the asteroid that means the guard of the bridge between heaven and earth. And I, relate it to Metatron, the bridge energy. And so he is very close with Mercury, and Mercury, on top of Mercury, is the asteroid Sphinx. And that relates to astral travel, to karmic agreements and karmic appointments, is what Metatron is saying. And things that we enter into, not in this dimension, that we're not like consciously aware of. But you can see in the astrology that the moon is reaching over to Mars. Mars is on top of Mary Magdalene, the asteroid Magdalene. So, and then the moon is in what's called a quincunx with Chiron. So what that tells me is that there's a potential that this full moon is an emotional full moon, which we relate. Always full moons are a time of releasing, so we can have things come up just for emotional expression, just to have them exit. And also just because it's speaking with Chiron, there could be, and Chiron will have just moved into the constellation of Aries. So speaking of the divine, that's the divine masculine, and it's ruled by that Mars, which just today, as I'm making this video, has entered the constellation of Taurus. And that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited about making the video for March, because we have so much happening during this Mercury retrograde period that we'll be going through until April 18th. Metatron, because it's going to come to 29 Pisces and then move backwards. So he's entering shadow on the day of the full moon, Mercury. So, if you want to, if there's something big that you'd like to purchase and you feel more comfortable doing that before the Mercury retrograde period, this weekend would be a good time to do that. I'm not advising you that way, but I know a lot of people just prefer it that way. Contracts, things like that. You just want to be really careful to look through everything during a shadow period and the retrograde period. But those things always work themselves out then when Mercury does something else, and then we have a chance to look at it again. But, Mercury also rules Gemini. And so there's a lot of advice that Metatron's been a lot of things that Metatron's been asking me to share with you during this retrograde period coming up that we'll talk about more in the March video. But Uranus, now Mars has moved off of Uranus. Uranus is still sitting at that last degree of Aries until March 6th. So we're still feeling the tension of that. It's still a good time for deep breathing in through the nose, all the way down to the root, and then closing your eyes as you exhale. You visualize the black, heavy roots growing beneath your feet, going deep into the earth and anchoring you in there. We do have earth, but we don't have a lot of air happening right now in the sky, which means that it's difficult for people to find the words that they'd like to say. And especially when Mercury is in Pisces, that's always true. Also, if something does come up that you find upsetting around the period of the full moon, please keep in mind that Mercury is with Neptune, and you want to really check your facts. It could be true and likely, is what Metatron is saying, that there will be news of an explosive nature. Is that what you're saying? And news of an explosive nature that comes up relating to money or hidden things that have been covered up, scandals during this period. And by the way, the Mercury that's ruling it is in the 8th house. So that rules secret money, secret dealings, traitors, like betrayals. So interesting. We shall see what comes about with that. So yeah, but during this period too, there's going to be a lot of revelations that come forward. We've got a long time dealing with this through April. But back to the sign of Virgo, the constellation of Virgo, and that Virgo Pisces axis. So what that means is that Virgo, I don't like to say opposes, but it's opposite of Pisces. So it more reflects. Okay, that's the way that I see the axis of the zodiac. So, there's Taurus, Scorpio axis, there's Virgo, Pisces, there's Aries, Libra. So it's like the self, and then Libra is how your self is reflected to you through others, and that's in your Venus, in your natal chart. So Venus now is ruling Mars, going through Taurus. And Venus is actually with the planet Saturn and will be for this full moon. And she wants someone of integrity, someone who is reliable, and something that is lasting. Okay. And so Mars, or the masculine, is listening to her. And it's very telling that this is the conversation that we're having leading up to when Uranus then moves into Taurus. So very good signal for divine union. Now, in this chart, as I'm seeing it, it still doesn't scream partnership, because we've got Pluto, the South Node, Saturn, and Venus all there together. Michael is there as well, and then Raphael Archangel Raphael's asteroid is on the planet Uranus, but that could be something coming to you from cosmic or another timeline. Someone who you had maybe given up on or are feeling less hopeful about. But remember that Uranus will be in Taurus for 7 years. So, but this is an awesome prospects is what it's looking like. Doesn't look like maybe that'll be working out like anytime in the very near future, but it's possible. I'm just telling you what it looks like in the chart. So we shall see about that. But let's go back to this Virgo Pisces aspect. this is a time when we're going to be dealing a lot with compassion for ourselves. And what is it that you deserve? What is it that you've got coming to you? Do you believe that you're a spark of God and that you're worthy of having benefits and blessings and gifts come to you from the infinite energy of pure unconditional love? Do you believe that? Because if you don't, or an aspect of you doesn't, then you're most likely creating something different with your thoughts. So this is a time when we're really going to be careful. Pisces is magic, and Virgo rules Gemini, the mind, and then practical magic, Virgo, how we put into practice on the planet what we wanted to do, what we desire to bring forward in this lifetime. So I'm going to just pause here and start again because I left the notebook. Metaron had given me some words for you that I wrote down, and I grabbed the wrong notebook. I need both notebooks, and I only have one. So, yeah, I'm just going to pause a sec. Okay, so how are you putting your magic into practice on the planet? How do you use your magic, your light? Your Pisces is when we just dissolve into and become one with the Creator. When we recognize that we are a spark of the Creator, we are the representation of the energy of pure unconditional love. And it's not something that we have to live up to or earn. Virgo, it just is that way. That's who you truly are. We're all connected. And do you practice compassion? Do you practice service? Do you have mercy on yourself? Do you show mercy to others? Kindness. And how do you implement the vibration of spirit on the earth? That's the Virgo Pisces axis. How do you put it into practice? Are you kind? Do you smile at strangers for no reason? Do you let people ahead of you in traffic? I'm not going to say that I do that all the time, but I used to be, I have Mars at the degree of exaltation in Capricorn, and I have, my ascendant at 29 Aries opposing my Mercury. I drive really fast. And I'm not going to lie about that. I have a paradigm where I only drive. So they show me things like that with traffic and how I'm behaving in traffic when they're like red alert, red alert. But the point is that when I drive now, instead of swearing at people, I just say, "Thank you, kind sir. Thank you, kind sir," because it changes your mindset. And immediately when different words like that come out of your mouth, you feel much more calm and you're just like, okay, it's fine. That kind of thing. That's actually like how people are always asking, what am I here to do? What am I here to do? That's what you're here to do. It's just to be nice to other people. Shine your light differently. Make yourself different than the typical way that people react. Make your reaction different. Seeing others through the lens of, like, if you watch like any of the reality shows where, they're fabulously wealthy people and playing out all of these dramas and things like that. They're just young souls who this is their lifetime to do that. Sometimes I look at those shows and I say to them, look at how good I used to have it. Because when we were fabulously wealthy, typically it's because we were greedy. And I'm not saying that they all are. But then we, learned that we didn't want that anymore. And so we're like, no, thank you. No, thank you. That brings a lot more complications than it's worth, is what Metaron is saying. And the Virgo also relating to service, I want to mention that we don't want to do that with a sacrifice. Okay. That's the lower Pisces. That's martyrdom. That's where, you're so empathetic that you just can't, the angels are very compassionate and empathetic, but they're not having all of that negativity. They're not absorbing it all and lowering their vibration. We can have compassion for other people without martyring ourselves. So if that's a fix that you'd like, and a lot of times it is, just because it's not a fun thing to have your energy and your vibration lowered, ask Metaron or the angels, whoever you'd like, God, to help you with that, so that you're not picking up so much of that energy. That's going to be part of this story when we have this long jaunt Mercury in Pisces. You know, it's how we're serving others without harming ourselves. And that goes back to, you know, dying, being like Jesus, or you know, Jesus died because you're a sinner. It's part of that old story. And someone once said in a comment, like, I never had that in my DNA. There's not really a religion, like going back, okay, looking at past religions, and most of them, there was some element where you had to sacrifice yourself, okay? Even in one where you're not taught to worship God, there's a certain number of chants that you need to do to release something. And so Pisces is about recognizing that you don't really need to earn. That's a lie. You're already redeemed. You're already forgiven. You're already there. It's just a matter of peeling back the layers and coming out and shining. Because Pisces can be a lot where we hide ourselves away as well. So, and having that compassion is what Metatron is saying. Having great compassion for yourself. When you recognize that there's something that, you know, you would like to improve upon, not beating yourself up about it, just being like, okay, I forgive myself for that. I forgive myself for screaming the F word at my fellow driver and just letting it go. Just letting it go. You know, you're allowed to do that. The creator is like, you know, everything's always perfect and everything's always in divine order and manifesting exactly as it's supposed to be for the creator. That's the creator thinking. That's the thinking of the higher vibration. So you recognizing where you could improve something and letting it go, that's a wonderful new practice to put in, to implement now as well with this Virgo Pisces story that we're going to be playing out for a long time. Just allowing yourself to let go and release what is no longer necessary. This is a perfect time for cleaning out the closets. If you're looking for work, even if you're not doing anything for a charity, contributing money to a cause that, you know, is close to your heart or something that means something to you. This is also, Virgo relates to pets. So if your pet is due for a checkup with this Virgo and Pisces, look, you know, check on the pet's health. Also, Virgo is our diagnosis because it's what we've earned kind of story, or what we're working through, is what Metatron said. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to health. And if anything comes up during this period from now till the middle of April, now canceling everyone who had all the thoughts, not everyone, all of the thoughts that just, you know, I may have inadvertently put out there that there's going to be a health issue. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying if there is anything that comes up related to health, that this is a time really to, Metatron is saying, you know, get your checkups. And whatever medicine it is that you choose to practice, you know, a lot of times the antibiotic is the way that we get healed. So there's nothing wrong with traditional medicine if that's the route that you choose to take, or if you don't. Either way, whatever works for you. Making an appointment with an energy healer, you know, seeing something about, maybe there's something that's been going on that's been bothering you for a while, that this could be a time when it really needs to be dealt with. It's possible with this energy. Okay, but I want us to keep focusing on the cards that Metatron showed about this period when I was pulling cards last Sunday. What else, Metatron? Dreams. The Dreamscape. This is when you're really going to be getting a lot of messages from Spirit, especially when we're going into that full moon period. Leading up to it, I mean, my dreams have been like, I'm so busy. When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, wow, that was a workout. Like, there's so much going on in dream time right now. I think for a lot of people, and I know a lot of people are mentioning that they're dreaming of ice. So I did too. I don't know what's going on with that, but, you know, I mean, Pisces relates to water, and we do have like a lot of unusual happenings with weather, with Virgo coming into Taurus. The North Node in the mundane chart relates to where the North Node, our soul's destiny, the collective's destiny, is going through the house of climate change. So, you know, but for whatever reason, there were icicles. I was seeing a lot of ice and icicles. Be careful to, still with driving with Mercury and Neptune, people can tend to be or Neptune sign in Pisces, people can tend to be distracted, and Mars isn't so comfortable in Taurus. This is an excellent time to begin a cleanse or change up your routine in some way. You know, add a new, like even rituals are covered under this energy. Add something new to your health routine. Maybe try some eliminating a food that you think might be bothering you. Great time to do a fast or a cleanse. And what was it that you said? What you reminded me of? Oh, okay. And this is a time to withdraw and gather awareness. Okay, this is a time where we're going to want to be really looking in. If you're having a dream that you know is significant and you're not sure exactly why, spending time in meditation. Okay, even if it's just you set the phone for 3-minute timer like I used to do, and you just concentrate on breathing. That's a good way to, eventually it'll come to you. It might not even come to you in that moment, but it'll come to you. And then trusting your own inner compass. There's going to be a lot of like, what, with this energy. And you're going to want to really look within yourself and go with what you're getting. Don't let like another person doing a reading or a healing or a teaching sway you. You want to be open and receptive, but really going within, asking for signs from the divine would be a good way to figure out. It's not like going to be too out of the realm of possibility at all, is what Metatron is saying, that you may get signs and confirmations that you're going this way, and then plans could change. It's possible, okay? That's happened to me more than once, but this energy is rife with that kind of thing where you could, you know, start down one way and then be like, oh no, okay, I'm doing this instead. And this is a, you know, practice being flexible. He was also talking a lot to me about practicing yoga. And so I've started that again this week. Mars in Taurus is a great energy for practice of yoga. If you don't want to do stretching or you're not able to do the stretching, Kundalini is just breathing techniques. Mercury rules breathing. Gemini, and then there's a corpula or copula. It's at like 25 of Virgo that rules lung. So Mercury, in other words, is in charge of our breathing patterns. And so really, you know, taking those deep breaths and going down, but stretching your muscles. We're working with this, you know, this Uranus at the end of Aries, and then Mars ruling that Uranus in Taurus needs a release. Otherwise, it's just stress, okay? What else? Yeah, and music. Music is something that, and you know, Pisces rules the feet. So if you can fit dancing while you're making dinner, I was dancing while I was putting my makeup on before I did this, because that was the only time I had today. And Metatron was like, you're going to be dancing while you're, you know, while you finish getting ready. I was like, okay. And then doing that yoga move, it's just a stretch. You don't need to do yoga, but where you lift your head, go all the way back as far as you can, and create that bridge from your throat to your heart, because Mercury and Pisces can be overwhelmed with emotion and unable to express. Those of you who have heard of the heart song, that's a great thing to practice. Really like connecting with your heart, feeling centered, allowing yourself to just release tears as they come. This is going to be a time of a lot of releasing. So yeah, but music, dancing, yoga, deep breathing, having compassion and patience for yourself, and everybody else is going through these same energies and they don't have the knowledge that we have. So really like being the force of light is what Metatron is saying. That's how we shake up the planet. There isn't a great, you know, work that you're going to do leading, you know, well, I don't know, maybe you will, tens of thousands of people, but Metatron is saying it's unnecessary. Just simply being the spark of light that you are wherever you live, okay? You live where you live for a reason. Going to the store, when I go to whatever shopping center, I say, Creator, send compassion and unconditional love through the entire shopping center. I watch it. You just envision that happening. It's happening. I ask for angels to be stationed all over. Especially, that's a good thing to do with the ice stuff that's going on in parking lots. If you live in a place like that, then just ask for protection in the parking lot. Of course, everyone has free will. Things will still go down possibly, but it's just a good idea, and it puts the energy of unconditional love. I have it downloading as my car drives around. My car is always spreading it around. I have Metatron's cube on the back of it too, so that doesn't hurt anything. But anyway, I'm really excited for the video coming up for March. We've got big stuff coming up, especially as related to divine union. So everybody take care. Enjoy the rest of the month of February. I will speak to you again in a few days. And thank you so much, everyone, for all of the kind words and comments by email and on YouTube. I really appreciate them. And I also wanted to mention that I have had just exemplary divine masculine clients just over this past month or so. All of the men, of course, ladies, I appreciate you as well. You know that I really love and I connect with each one of my clients. I feel a kinship with you, and I've had just amazing examples of the divine masculine in sessions lately. So they're out there, women. They exist. They are here. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, everybody take care, and sending everybody so much love. Happy Valentine's Day. Alrighty. Bye-bye.